Comfort. It's the drug we all crave. The cozy cocoon, the predictable routine, the illusion of safety wrapped in soft blankets and familiar habits. We chase it endlessly in our relationships, in our careers, in the tiny choices we make every day. We choose the known over the unknown, the easy over the uncertain, the familiar over the uncomfortable. And for a while it works. Comfort feels good. It feels earned. It feels like we've made it. But comfort has a shadow. What begins as a reward quickly becomes a cage. The more we cling to comfort, the more we fear disruption. The more we protect ourselves from discomfort. The more we limit our capacity to grow. Slowly, we begin to avoid the very friction that fuels transformation. We skip the hard conversations. We stay in jobs that numb us. We hold on to routines that dull our edges. All in the name of staying comfortable. But growth does not live in comfort. Growth lives in the discomfort, in the stretching, in the unfamiliar, in the moments that shake us awake and ask us to become more than we were yesterday. You don't evolve by staying warm and safe. You evolve by stepping into the cold, by getting uncomfortable, by risking failure, rejection, and pain. That is where the real expansion begins. So the next time you feel the pull to retreat into comfort, pause and ask yourself what it might be costing you. Is it stealing your edge? Is it silencing your truth? Is it keeping you small? Because comfort might keep you safe, but it will never set you free. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the invitation. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Not because it feels wrong, but because it feels so incredibly right that you forget what you were built for. It lulls you into stillness, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that slowly eats away at your potential. It whispers that this soft silence, this gentle plateau, is how life is supposed to feel. No sharp edges, no loud questions, no restless hunger. But real life does not live in that silence. Real life is noisy. It is wild. It is full of friction. The kind that stretches you. The kind that cracks you open and demands that you look at everything you've outgrown. The kind that reminds you that breaking is not the end, but the beginning of becoming. When you get too comfortable, you stop asking hard questions. You stop chasing new challenges. You start making choices from fear instead of desire. You choose what feels safe instead of what feels true. And over time, that safety becomes suffocating. You may not notice it at first, but slowly, something inside you starts to shrink. Your voice gets quieter. Your fire burns lower. Your dreams, once vivid, begin to fade like photographs left in the sun. Comfort is a silent killer, not because it attacks, but because it convinces you that there is nothing worth fighting for anymore. It steals your urgency. It takes your edge. It dulls your spirit until you forget that you were made for more than just getting by. So ask yourself, is your comfort serving you? Or is it sedating you? Is it healing you? Or is it hiding you? Because life is not meant to be a slow fade. It is meant to be a rising. From the time we are young, we are taught to seek safety. Play it smart. Keep your head down. Follow the path of least resistance. We are raised to believe that the highest form of success is a stable job, a quiet life, and a predictable outcome. The message is everywhere, baked into school systems, echoed by well-meaning adults, reinforced by every fear-based voice in society. Discomfort is something to be avoided. Risk is something to be feared. Struggle is something to be ashamed of. But here is the truth they don't teach you. Nothing extraordinary has ever come from staying inside your bubble. Nothing worth building was ever born from pure convenience. Every breakthrough, every moment of growth, every time someone did something truly meaningful, it began with a step outside what felt easy. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your compass. It points to where the magic lives. Real change, real evolution, lives just beyond the border of what feels safe. That imaginary line we call comfort, it is not a wall. It is a gate. And if you want more, if you crave more, if you know deep down you were made for more, then you will have to walk through it. Yes, it will feel like fire. Yes, it will hurt. But that pain, that heat, it is the price of becoming. And every time you step into it, you shed another version of yourself that was never meant to last. We were sold a lie that safety equals success. But the truth is, success belongs to the bold. It belongs to those willing to walk straight into uncertainty, even when every voice tells them to stay small. When was the last time you truly felt yourself stretch? Not just succeed in something you already knew you could do, but actually grow. Really grow. The kind of growth that comes with trembling hands, with doubt in your chest, and with the fear that you might not make it. That kind of stretch does not arrive wrapped in comfort or routine. It shows up in the hard conversations you want to avoid. It shows up in the decisions that scare you. It shows up when everything in you says retreat, but something deeper says move forward anyway. Growth does not come from perfection. It comes from friction. It comes from facing the parts of yourself you have spent years hiding. It comes from being cracked open by failure, heartbreak, and uncertainty, and still choosing to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep fighting for the life you know you're meant to live. Discomfort is not a punishment. It is a portal. It is the challenge that forces you to dig deeper, to reach higher, to confront what you once thought was impossible. It invites you to meet the version of yourself that exists beyond fear, the version that only shows up when you're stretched beyond what you thought you could survive. Your soul was not built for stillness. It was built to expand. It was built to break through old walls and birth new truths. You cannot meet your purpose without passing through the fire. You cannot discover your strength without first knowing your limits. So stop waiting for ease. Stop chasing comfort. Chase growth. Chase the stretch. Because everything you are looking for lies on the other side of discomfort. The real problem is not discomfort itself. It is our fear of discomfort. It is the mental gymnastics we perform to avoid uncertainty, to dodge anxiety, to sidestep anything that threatens the illusion of control. We label the unknown as dangerous. We tell ourselves that awkwardness, stress, and unease are signals to retreat. But what if they are actually pointing us forward? What if they are not stop signs, but road signs? What if those uncomfortable emotions are messengers trying to guide us toward transformation? Most people never step into their full potential because they are too busy running from discomfort. The second things feel unfamiliar. They pull back. The minute the path gets rocky, they turn around. But every time you run from discomfort, you also run from growth. Every time you silence your fear, you silence your becoming. Discomfort is not a problem to solve. It is a compass. That tightness in your chest when you are about to say something honest. That is truth trying to break through. That lump in your throat when you stand at the edge of a decision. That is courage forming. That twist in your gut when you consider a new direction. That is your spirit stretching. Yes, the unknown is terrifying, but it is also sacred. It is the territory of all things new, all things bold, all things real. You do not need to have all the answers. You just need to be willing to take the next step. Let the fear come. Let it sit beside you. But do not let it drive. You're built for this. Stepping outside your comfort zone is not just about doing something difficult. It is about discovering who you are when the script disappears. It is about pulling back the layers you have been hiding behind and exposing the raw truth beneath them. Because when things are easy, you coast. You stay in familiar routines, repeat predictable actions, and hide behind the safety of knowing exactly what comes next. But when you step into discomfort, something different happens. Discomfort forces you to confront yourself. You start to see your real limits. But more importantly, you see how far beyond them you can actually go. You start to hear the voice inside that says, keep going, when every part of you wants to stop. You learn that you are stronger than you thought. Not because you had to be, but because you chose to be. The strength was already there. The discomfort just revealed it. This is not about suffering for the sake of suffering. This is about leaning into challenge because you know there is something on the other side worth reaching. Growth never comes from comfort. Safety teaches you how to stay the same. Exposure teaches you how to expand. When you step into the unfamiliar, you begin to build resilience. You sharpen your instincts. You stretch your capacity to lead, to create, to connect. You become someone who knows how to face life rather than hide from it. That is how confidence is born. Not from ease, but from experience. So do not fear the discomfort. Use it. Let it strip away what is false and show you who you really are. Comfort feels good. It wraps around you like a familiar blanket, lulling you into a sense of calm. But beneath that calm is something more dangerous than chaos stagnation. The danger of settling is that it does not come with alarms. There is no red warning light that flashes when you stop pushing yourself. It is quiet. It is slow. It is subtle. One day you look up and realize you have not grown in months, maybe years. You are still breathing, still going through the motions. But inside, something has gone still. The moment you stop challenging yourself is the moment you start to decay. Growth, is not something that happens by accident. It requires friction. It requires effort. It requires being uncomfortable and choosing to show up anyway. Settling seduces you with ease. It tells you this is enough. It tells you to relax, to stay where it is safe. But comfort is not safety. Comfort is a slow fade into irrelevance. The world around you is not stopping. It keeps moving, shifting, evolving. If you are not evolving with it, you are falling behind. This does not mean you must hustle every second of the day. It means you must stay awake, stay curious, keep stretching yourself, keep asking harder questions, keep showing up to the parts of your life that scare you. The danger of settling is not just what you miss out on. It is what you forget you are capable of. You lose your fire, your edge, your reason. So before you settle, ask yourself if the comfort is worth the cost. Ask yourself who you might become if you chose to keep going. What are you avoiding right now? Maybe it is a conversation you have been rehearsing in your head for weeks. Maybe it is a leap you know you need to take, but you keep finding reasons to delay. Maybe it is a truth about yourself that feels too uncomfortable to face. Whatever it is, that thing you are avoiding is not a random obstacle. It is a mirror. It is a message. It is the clearest sign pointing you toward the next stage of your evolution. Avoidance is not just procrastination. It is a way of pretending the hard stuff will somehow disappear on its own. It is a distraction dressed up as logic. You tell yourself it is not the right time. You convince yourself that things are fine as they are. But deep down, you know better. You know the thing you are avoiding is the thing that matters most. You know that growth is hiding on the other side of that resistance. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the compass. When you feel that internal friction, that tightening in your chest, that quiet voice saying not this again, you are being given a direction. That tension is the indicator that something important is waiting to be faced. And when you do face it, when you finally lean in, that is where change happens. Avoidance builds walls. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stuck. If you want to grow, you must move through what you are tempted to run from. Stop waiting for the fear to go away. It probably will not. Move anyway. Here's the twist they don't tell you. The more you avoid discomfort, the more uncomfortable your life becomes. Not right away. At first it feels like relief. You skipped the awkward conversation. You stayed in the job that drains you. You kept quiet instead of speaking up. It feels like you dodged something painful. But what you're really doing is planting seeds of regret. Avoiding discomfort creates a false sense of safety. You think you're protecting yourself, when in reality, you're building a smaller and smaller box around your life. Every time you choose what's easy over what's necessary, that box gets tighter. You trade short-term peace for long-term dissatisfaction. And eventually, you look around and realize you've shrunk. You're surviving, but you're not thriving. You're present, but you're not alive. There's a cost to playing it safe. And that cost is your potential. That cost is the version of yourself you could have become if you had just leaned into the discomfort instead of running from it. The pain you avoided becomes the purpose you never lived out. The tension you dodged becomes the growth you never earned. It's a paradox. You think discomfort is the problem, but it's actually the path. You think safety is the solution, but it can be the slowest form of self-betrayal. If you want a life that is rich, full, and meaningful, you will have to feel some pain. You will have to get uncomfortable. You can either choose the discomfort of growth now, or live with the heavier weight of regret later. But you will not escape discomfort. The only question is whether it will shape you or shrink you. Lean in. Step forward. Embrace the fear. That knot in your stomach. The hesitation in your chest. The urge to run the other way. Those are signs you are standing on the edge of your own evolution. It might not feel like it, but that tension you feel right now is not a warning to stop. It is an invitation to rise. Everything you want lives past that internal resistance. Confidence, clarity, purpose, fulfillment. They do not come from staying comfortable. They come from getting real with yourself. They come from entering the mess with open eyes and an open heart. The discomfort you fear is not an enemy. It is a mirror. It shows you where you still have work to do, where you still need to stretch, where you have not yet become the version of you you are capable of being. It is not easy. growth never is, but that does not mean it is not worth it. That shaking in your hands, that uncertainty in your voice, that is your soul preparing to break through the surface and breathe. It is your spirit reminding you that you were made to expand, not to shrink. The other side of discomfort is not pain. It is power. It is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the moment you look back and realize you are no longer afraid of the thing that once terrified you. It is the freedom that comes from knowing you did not run. You faced it. You felt it. And you found yourself in it. So take the step. Make the call. Have the conversation. Go toward the thing that scares you. Because what waits on the other side is you, fully alive. You will not find a meaningful life hiding inside the lines. You will not uncover your purpose by playing it safe, staying clean, or trying to get everything exactly right. The truth is, meaning is messy. It lives in the gray areas, in the unexpected detours, in the days that go off script. It shows up when your plans fall apart and you are forced to improvise. It grows in the cracks of your confidence, in the doubts you wrestle with, in the nights when you cannot sleep because everything feels uncertain. The most powerful moments in your life are rarely the polished ones. They are not the picture-perfect milestones you post on social media, or the days when everything clicks. They are the mornings you wake up exhausted but still choose to try again. They are the evenings when everything went wrong, but you found a way to hold on to yourself. They are the conversations that shook you, the failures that humbled you, the breakdowns that cracked you open and made space for something new. Meaning is not born from perfection. It is born from persistence. It is born from showing up fully, even when you are a mess, even when you do not have all the answers, even when your voice shakes. The life you are most proud of will be the one where you stayed honest in the chaos, where you stayed true in the confusion, where you kept going, not because it was easy, but because it mattered. So stop trying to tidy up your story. Let it be raw. Let it be real. Let it be beautifully unfinished, because a meaningful life is not neat. It is alive. All right, let's dive in. First things first. Let go of the fantasy that life should be easy. Seriously, release the idea that comfort is the goal. It's time to stop clinging to what is warm, familiar, and safe. Just because it feels good, you know? Because, here's the truth. No one really tells you. Comfort might feel nice, sure. But it rarely leads anywhere new. Comfort keeps you stuck. Comfort keeps you small. It might protect you from the storm. But it also locks you away from the ocean. So, let's choose discomfort. And, in turn, choose life. Life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be real. It is meant to challenge you, stretch you, push you beyond what you thought possible. It is not supposed to stay within the bounds of what you can predict. It is supposed to crack you open, make you question everything, and force you to rise. Life is not tidy or convenient. It is wild. It is chaotic. It is breathtaking. And most importantly, it is alive. You cannot numb your way into purpose. You cannot avoid discomfort and expect to grow. You cannot choose ease and expect depth. If you want to feel alive, you have to choose discomfort. You have to lean in when everything in you wants to pull away. You have to speak up when silence would be safer. You have to take the step even when you do not know where it will lead. Because discomfort is not your enemy. It is your invitation. It is the gateway to growth, to self-respect, to a life that actually means something. The more you choose it, the more awake you become. And the more awake you are, the more alive you feel. So if you are tired of just existing, start choosing discomfort. Choose courage. Choose uncertainty. Choose life. If you agree, ink, rage, repeat. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.